Today on our 2018 Subaru Forester, we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56040. So here's what our wiring is going to look like once we have it installed. It is going to give us a 4-pole flat trailer connector, and it does come with a dust cover. Now this is going to provide us with all the lights we need for our trailer, such as our tail lights, turn signals, and stop lights. Now whenever we are ready to tow, we're going to drop our wire out our hatch, and it's going to be right here by our receiver tube. Now when we're not towing, we can open up our hatch, and as you can see, the seal here is going to protect our wire, so we're not going to damage it when we do close it and we're using it. And when we're not using it, we can simply just lift out the floor covering and store it right here by the spare tire. That way it's ready for us, but when we're not using it, it's completely out of the way. Now, the benefit of it being inside the car is that it is going to be protected from the elements when we're not using it. So even though it does come with a dust cover to keep out that dirt, debris, and moisture, it's going to be even more protected on the inside because we're not going to have to worry about rain, dirt, or any other kind of contaminants getting inside of our circuits. Now, our connection is going to be back here. We're going to have a factory connector behind this panel right here that we're going to connect to. And our wiring is fuse protected, so we're not going to have to worry about overloading the circuit. Now our kit is going to also have a converter box that's wired up to the wiring, and it's going to take the signal from our vehicle and change it to a working signal for our trailer. We're also not going to have to worry about any kind of backfeeding from our trailer damaging our vehicle because it is going to protect it. So now that we've seen what our wiring looks like in the end and gone over some of the features, let's show you how to get it installed. To begin our installation, we're going to open up our rear hatch, and we're going to be removing all the floor coverings that are in here and setting them aside. Now, if we move over to the left-hand side, we're going to have this panel right here. We are going to have to remove both of these to get access so we can take the trays out as well. Take the center tray out. We are not going to have to remove our spare tire, however, though. In order to take out this foam tray, we are going to have to pull up these two pushpin fasteners. So you can take a trim panel tool, just want to get underneath it, and pop it out. Then we can remove the foam tray and set it aside. So now we're going to have to pull up the rear threshold here, and we're just going to want to come underneath, grabbing the plastic, and pull up, and it's going to release the tabs. You're just going to want to work your way from each end and work towards the center. And then we can set this aside. Now our connector is going to be back in this area, so we're going to remove our tie-down hook so we don't damage it. So if you take a trim panel tool or a flathead screwdriver, you can just pop that little cover out, and it'll expose the nut that's holding it in place. And we're using a 10mm socket to pull it out. We can set this aside for right now. So then we can grab our plastic panel down towards the bottom, and we're going to be pulling away to unlock some of the plastic tabs that are holding it in place, so then we can gain access to the plug, which is going to be right back here. It's going to have some blue tape around it. That's the one we're going to be looking for right here. So we can grab our harness, and we'll notice that the connector on the end of our harness is going to match up with the one in the vehicle. Then we can plug it in. You may have to move the tape and pull it off to get everything to plug in though. Make sure it locks into place. And then we're going to find a suitable spot for our ground wire. So our ground wire we're actually going to attach to the bolt right here, which is going into the sheet metal. So if we grab our 10mm socket again, we can remove that bolt. Can actually slide the wire through the bolt, going around it, and then reattach it. You want to make sure when you put it back in that you line everything back up, because there is an alignment tab on that bracket. So while we still have access to it, I'm going to go ahead and take the included 10 amp fuse and put it into the fuse holder. Put the dust cover on, And then we can find a spot to mount our converter box. Our kit does come with some double-sided foam tape. So we're going to take the backing off of one side. And we're going to stick it directly to the converter box. I want to make sure you push nice and firmly so it attaches good. And then we can tuck our wires behind the panel and find a spot to mount it to. So if we tuck our box back towards the outside of the vehicle, it'll keep it out of the way of everything. You just want to go to a nice flat surface. So we're just going to make sure that we have our 4-pole wiring routed out the bottom area here going towards our spare tire. Then we can start putting our panels back in place. Make sure the weather stripping's on the right side of the panels. And we put our tow hook back. And put our threshold back in place. And then start putting all the other panels back. You just want to make sure that, again, that wire is going underneath this foam panel here so we still have access to it. And we'll put our push pins back in. I'm actually going to lift up my 4-pole wire so it's in between the two foam panels here so I can get to it. We can just keep it stored right here in the back for now. And whenever we do want to use our wiring, we can simply lift up the coverings, drop it out the rear hatch, and it'll be right by our receiver tube whenever we're ready to use it. So now that we have it in place, we'll go ahead and test it and make sure all our circuits are working properly. So I have my 4-pole tester here. I'm going to plug it in, and if you need one of these, you can check your wiring. You can pick one up on our website using part number I26. So I'm going to grab an extra set of hands so they can run my lights for me and I can verify that they're working. So I can get the headlights, please. Looks good. Left turn signal. Good. Right turn signal. The brakes. Good. And can I get the brakes in both turn signals, please? Alright, with all of our lights working properly, we're ready to hook up to our trailer and hit the road. And that'll finish up your look at the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector, part number C56040 on our 2018 Subaru Forester.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com. And leave us a comment if you have any questions.